Hey everyone, welcome to the UFO Hub livestream. Today's open lines, where I hope that some of you would join the voice chat that's going on live right now on Telegram. You can download the app on your phone or download it on your computer. The specific link for the UFO Hub group is in the description below, and you can simply join the voice chat there and get on my queue to talk to me. And of course, I do hope you take advantage of that. If no one really comes on, we're just going to make this show short. This show short, and but there's of course some things I would like to go over with you guys today. There's a document that was sent to me by Colette, and she was okay with me sharing her first name, that had some very interesting piece of information. I'll get into that later as well. Doing some little catch up on some of the UFO videos. One in particular, I had already shared it with the Telegram group, but I wanted to also cover this in this video as well. So I guess let me shift some things over, especially when I haven't done a stream in a while. It takes me a little bit to get used to things. So the first things first, from time to time, people reach out to me, and they always ask to see if I can maybe promote their channel. And I haven't spent a great time looking over what the channel exactly covers, but based on the conversation I had with Eric, he was simply saying that he just does interviews with the average Joe about their experiences, and as he calls it, he lets them vent. So the channel is called Sir Naxalot. It's a very interesting name. So as I always say, if you can't find something what you're looking for here, I hope you find it somewhere else, because at the end of the day, it's about the answers that you're looking for regarding the subject, or maybe some other things. So maybe this channel might have it for you. So anyway, I just wanted to put a shout out there for this particular channel, and I hope you subscribe and find something useful there. So the things I wanted to basically talk about or go over is regarding this video. And so I'll read it first, and then what I did is I extracted this video and I have it playing in its entirety first, and then I zoomed in more, and I'll show that to you in a bit. But at first I wanted to just give you a little bit of background here about this particular video that came out not that long ago. It says, a pilot believes he has seen an entire fleet of UFOs flying over the sea after he spotted a series of weird lights that seemed to move and rotate. The man managed to capture a few seconds of video footage, and in the clip you can see 3 rows of lights, some with 4 dots and some with 3. At one point, the highest dot fades and is replaced by another lower down. Then eventually they all seem to disappear from view. The pilot said he was flying over the Pacific Ocean at the time, and he had no idea what the lights could be, other than a fleet of UFOs flying in formation. So let me bring in the video here. And so what I'll there's I just want to, I guess, just kind of give my commentary ahead of time. It's a very clear video, and a lot of you can just see what you can see for yourself. And if anything, just take it as a very interesting video, a lot clearer, sharper than what we've experienced in the past. And I'm really hoping that it actually is a UFO instead of a phenomenon that we don't know about, that's more earthly than we think. So let me play the video for you in its entirety. Okay, there we go.
I don't know what that is. That is some weird shit.
Millennia 2735, container opportunity 120.07 for day. Pursuing 12047, good day, we're in 2734.
That's something fun. Gone.
So here it is again, more zoomed in. I hope it shows a little bit more details. It certainly is peculiar seeing it. It's to be that high and in that kind of formation.
That is some weird shit.
It's amazing.
Millennia 2735, contact Virginia 120, that's 07, good day. Pursuing 12047, good day, we're in 2734.
That's something fun. Gone.
So, well, there it is. You have a pretty good video, and usually if there's some complaints about UFO videos not being very sharp or always blurry and all those typical stories, that this one certainly doesn't belong to that category. And I hope that maybe one day we can learn more about it, find out exactly what it is. But again, other than another cool video, I unfortunately don't have any more information than this. So the main thing that I wanted to get into today is actually also the title of this live stream. And this was sent to me by Colette, and I believe she lives in England. So the information that she sent me and the explanation, which I will also read for you. I'm also partly doing this reading because this is also going to be part of a podcast, so those listening don't know exactly what they're looking at the screen. So, but at least it gives you a little bit of background information why she happened to send it to me. She was, I believe, searching through the English National Archives, and this is what she found. So first I want to read to you in the email what she has said. She said, I have done brief research on the address there, 10 Mason Place, London, SW7. And it all matches up in line with the time period there and various offices contributing to the information that you have there. I just thought to myself when I was reading it, hold on, these documents are official. So I read them a good few times over and did my little bit of research. And it turns out the London address was split into service apartments for the use of top rank staff that were there in the UK from the US Air Force. Please excuse my ignorance, as I would not be sure how they would be addressed, sergeant or colonel. Clearly, they were in the process of devising a Project Blue Book, etc. But on page 43 there, well, it clearly says what it says. So I'm thinking it would be a little bit peculiar also. However, having matched up timelines, various members of staff, etc., I personally think that the pages with similar information have somehow found their way into that file. And so what she's referring to is these pages, and it's in a PDF form, from the National Archives, reference AIR 2/17527, yada yada yada, copyright, Crown copyright. And I certainly hope that the people and Colette are not people that just want to trick the UFO community and send them some BS information and some false information. I'm really, based on just what I was able to see and read for myself, this particular page 43 does seem like a bit different from the rest of them, because a lot of the other pages are obviously more about the Project Blue Book. It's like correspondences between each other about, hey, I've received this letter, it was interesting, and so on. More information with certain data. And so I did forget one thing. I was thinking about making this available, making a link so that everyone can get this, and maybe later on after the show I still will. But anyway, so this one very interesting and out of place page on 43, and again, I will go through reading it. I apologize if I'm not the best reader, but it was written by a person labeled B.Kell, and this is the 10 Mason Place, London, that she was referring to, and this was written in May 1965. So based on the information kind of that's being shared, when you read the beginning and the back, or before the page and after the page, this one really does seem like it's out of place. So again, I certainly hope that this is valid. I cannot confirm whether or not this is accurate, or if this is some kind of, false statement or some kind of lie that's sent to the community to read. But if anything, if some of you out there might have some information about this, or know more about this, or have already heard about this, I certainly hope you can come forward. Maybe if you are watching now, to join Telegram group and at least let us know. At the very least, maybe in the Twitch or YouTube chat. So this is basically what it says. Just get this positioned. So he wrote, Dear Sir, if you deal solely with sighting reports of flying objects, perhaps you would be able to pass on the following fact from current contact information. Recent activity by visiting space vehicles has covered Indonesia and Japan, Argentina, Brazil, and North America. Russia and China have not been ignored, and Karachi Airport is used as a transit station with official cooperation. Since January 1963, additional underground bases are reported to have become operational in America, Asia, Siberia, Switzerland, and North Andes. Entry to some is via underground tunnels 15 miles in length. In America, certain jobs are now done by our space friends at defense sites, test grounds, military and air bases, in commercial organizations, churches, and entertainment media. Apart from flying and maintenance personnel, about 10,000 interplanetary visitors live, work, and study in various countries. Since their election last year, some U.S. senators and congressmen are cooperating with our space visitors. The result of this type of cooperation in Russia has neutralized forceful activity for the present, whilst China and America are equally matched in a restricted safety valve maneuver. Similar tactics in 1951 and 1956 prevented worldwide conflict with no a great material loss or gain on either side, and the Middle East may need security treatment again soon. Universal law is poetic, so that we have to reap as we sow, but we are fortunate in having destructive effect mitigated. Minimized. However, some of the Earth's natural features will be changed if necessary in order to educate and to educate the remaining population. I'm sorry, my reading sucks. Our future has always depended on what we think, feel, and do as individuals. By our interest and activity in 1944, we invited the present interplanetary program of education. We have the key. There are no secrets, only things we hide from ourselves. There are no problems, only people. This year we mature with more obvious cooperation and collaboration. Yours faithfully, B.Kell. So this is that particular document that really is different based on the rest of it. I mean, a lot of it is just like, oh, this information is interesting. Thank you for, your letter and blah 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 blah. But this one just kind of throws it all out there, and it seems to be sort of in the middle of this batch of 67 pages. So I wanted to let you all know, and also to thank Colette very much for uh, sending this to me so that I can forward it to all of you. And I am certainly hoping that this is not some kind of hoax or um, some kind of deceit. Okay, let me see who else is in the chat, and we'll. Looks like I have Niels in open lines, which is great. Niels, I'll get to you in a quick second. Let me just say hello to some people here in chat. Bonnie, hello. Labels, welcome as well. Claudine, welcome. Roll the Losing Dice, welcome. Penny, Nick, welcome as well. Roscoe, William. All right, I guess it's filling up slowly but surely. And Sonia, also, welcome. Gary, don't want to miss Gary as well. So what, let me then just go over here. All right, Niels, you are unmuted on my end. Unmute yourself on yours, and you're free to talk to me.
How are you?
Just fine. How
Hear
are you
me?
doing? Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Great. Yeah, I just want to jump right into. I've called in before, and I appreciate you taking me on. I just like to tell everybody, I feel compelled that I should share these stories, experiences that I've had. Back in 2015, I went to Utah, and I was staying in a chalet, and we just had a couple beers and relaxing and whatnot before a wedding, and all of a sudden I see these group of hikers going across the mountain. There's a huge mountainside is clearly covered in snow, and so just watch these three hikers once in a while going across. It took them a couple hours, and then next thing you know, once they're off the mountain, kind of thing, I saw this single being, and what struck me is that this being was he was about the same area as the other ones were, but he was about twice the height of them. So the being was about 12 feet tall, and the being was like in a dark beige single piece suit, like hair or something. It was a pretty good distance away, but he could still see that he didn't have any gear on. And the fact that the other hikers took hours to walk across the mountain and took breaks, and this being just walked right up the straight up the mountain without even stopping, like 15 minutes. That led me to believe that that was this being was a Sasquatch,
And
and
so
it didn't really strike me at the time, but now that when I thought about what that was, I was too dull at the time to think that that was actually a Sasquatch, but no other explanation for it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so this was a being on the ground while you guys were hiking, covering all this distance.
No, I was chilling in the chalet with my friends and my girlfriend, right?
Okay,
And we were just we were just we could see the mountain through the huge through the huge window. Right? It's a beautiful view, and I was like, this being just walked right up it. But at the time, I was just kind of dumbfounded that I didn't really put two and two together at the time. Do you know what I mean? I
right.
thought it was peculiar, and I was gonna take a picture of it. It's like, oh, it's no big deal. But now that I'm reflecting on it, and my cousin took a picture, and also my grandfather's best friend, who's hunter and trapper and all that. He took pictures of his boot and the Sasquatch prints, and my cousin did one with another Sasquatch in the print. So that made me thinking, well, what the hell was this experience all about? So that was peculiar. So I think I've seen my another time too. I was camping and I heard a funny grunt and like a. It was just very strange to hear the that sound. I've been all over the world, and I spent a lot of time camping and in forests and all that, and I've never heard anything like it. So made me believe that was a Sasquatch too. So I've done a lot of research on these beings, and I'm really captivated by them. How there's the ET connection with them, how they're telepathic, encounters missing time. However, they can be quite aggressive. Apparently they throw rocks and they make a lot of noises. But they want to keep some of them want to keep humans out of the forest. So I think it's absolutely incredible. I totally believe that they're here. I believe that they're able to mess with time, mess with magnetic power, able to disappear, reappear. I believe they have families. I believe that they love and they think, and they're highly telepathic and very advanced beings.
Is this something that is just an interest of yours, or do you follow up it, a lot closer than just
Yeah.
a occasional hobby?
Well, ever since like when I was young, and I had the experiences. Like I've called in before and talked to, and if you recall the CE5 that I've done, and I've had incredible nanotech type, like a 10,000 K super advanced technological light craft come right down to my girlfriend now, and I've seen 21 UFOs. I can tell you all about them. Really want to tell you about two is that my girlfriend and I were having trouble having a baby, and we were doing a lot of advanced testing, um, and one of the tests showed that there was like a baby that was growing, but then we went back a week later and was gone. But during that week, I woke up out of my bed, and I rarely like wake up and have funny stuff. I'm a deep sleeper. I have a clean conscience. I have no problem sleeping, but this one morning during this time, I woke up because kind of like a voice in my head said like wake up, like, or anyways, this being woke me up, and it's about probably 5:30 in the morning, so the room was just very dimly lit, but the sun was rising, like just seeing up. And when I woke up from my sleep, I just sat right up. I've never done this before. I sat right up, looked right at him, and there was like this 3.5 foot tall being at the foot of my bed. And I looked right at him, and the first thing I looked at was small eyes. And I thought to myself, if this is a star person, why are the eyes so small? And then once I looked at his small eyes, this being had rings around its eyes, like on the outside of the eyes kind of thing, the sides of the eyes, like it had been smiling for like decades, decades or centuries. And the second I locked eyes with him and saw that, and I saw how short he was, I passed out in like disbelief, went back to sleep, or the being put me back to sleep. So that was pretty incredible. Another time too, I want to tell you another. I don't know if I told you this last time, but two of my friends, uh, very very wealthy individuals. We went camping and fishing, and the fishing wasn't too good. It was too hot at the time. So they're more interested in hearing more about. I've talked to them openly about my UFO encounters and meeting with the star people and triangular formation on the beach. So they wanted to know more about it, meditation, all this stuff. So I took them down to a beautiful rock at the bottom of our site, and I started playing Stephen Halpern, um, and one of his CDs is chanting in the Great Pyramid. It's all about cinematics and resonance with him, and power of music and all that vibration. So we played that for a while. We just relaxed and listened to that. And then I did a guided meditation with them. I don't recall exactly what I said, but I was really into it. I meditated quite a bit. I meditated in Egypt, all over the world, and have meditated into the pyramids inside the King's Chamber and whatnot. But yeah, I did the guided meditation, and then I did my own meditation near down at the water, and I was on my knees, just being sincere and genuine, and openly asking, if we could, someone could visit us, or if you're is the universal power, God, listening, or the star people here or whatnot, right? And so all of a sudden, this silent golden ball. It was about 8 to 10 feet wide, spherical. It was a solid gold, almost like an angel on a Christmas tree. And we all saw it, and it just slowly went up the lake. It was about 100 feet above the lake, and it went up the center of the lake and into the horizon, and it was gone. It was nighttime, right? I've also seen a craft that lit up. It was it was like a flying ship. It was a spacecraft, a ship, but it had its wings, and the edges of the wings had two wings on it. They were curled inside of itself in a bit, and it lit up for. It was on the same trajectory. It lit up solid gold fire-like color for about 3 seconds, and then it dimmed for about 4 seconds and lit up for another 3 seconds. Another time too, there was a snowman type object very high in the sky, and it did a semicircle around me. We're all around a campfire having a good time, and I saw it, and it lit up center of it, like the snowman type center of it, lit up red for about 6 or 7 seconds, and dimmed for about 10 seconds. I could just see it, and the object was like a dark bronze green type of object. It did a semicircle, lit off into the distance. Um, so I just felt compelled that I had to share these things with you. It feels good to get them off my chest and to share them. So I just want to reach out to everybody and just say that it's real, it's true, um, and it's absolutely incredible. Um, the other thing too, like we're done more research on these Sasquatch and the Star People programs. They're working with individuals, out of their own will or they're not even interested in it, but they experience it, and these beings are helping us increase our consciousness, one person at a time, one at a time, one moment at a time, to help increase our awareness, our understanding, our evolution, our minds, our spirits, help us, and help us out, right? So I think they're here to help us. Do I think they do? The Sasquatch throwing rocks and whatnot, or the ETs doing, taking them on in crafts and biological testing, or doing things against our will. I think that they're mostly benevolent, but I think that there's still some those that aren't following the universal law of good intent, and they have their own agendas, and it's just all real. And I think we're in for a real treat.
Well, Neil, let me ask you, so would you say that if you haven't had that experience with that being at the bottom of your bed, that you wouldn't have really gone down this rabbit hole, so to say? Or do you think you would have always been prone to go down this road?
No, I think, well, when I was young, like for instance, um, what's really opened my eyes up is that my mom, she was playing piano as a young girl, and she got pains in her chest. And long story short, at that exact same time, her grandfather died of a heart attack, so she felt it passing away. And then when I went to Egypt, I saw the hieroglyphics of eternal life coming from the sun through all the different families. So the golden strand was cut. So I always knew there was something more to it. I've always had my mind open to it, and I've always waited beyond the Bible in my studying of all ancient civilizations and religions. There's more to it. So I've always known inherently that there's much more going on. So I don't know if you recall of the three beings. Do you remember me telling about in your show about three beings on the beach? I can tell you that story again if you want.
Yes, please do.
Do you remember?
Yeah, vaguely. Just please understand.
Vaguely?
Yeah. Well,
No
because
worries.
I've talked to a lot of people, and it's been quite a bit. So, just because I don't
Yeah,
remember, I
yeah.
hope you don't mind recalling. And that doesn't
No,
mean that I
all
wasn't
good.
listening. It just means,
No,
I'm
happy. I
talking
know
to
you're a
you
good guy.
after.
I know
I
you're a
was
good
just gonna
guy. It's all
say.
good, buddy.
Okay.
Let me
No, it's
just
just I have so
go ahead.
much information is constantly, thrown my way, and so occasionally it does feel like a hard drive. Information has to be cleared before others can come in. But before you tell that story,
Absolutely.
just real quick, I hope you
Yeah,
don't mind me asking a question. Labels was asking,
please.
while she's listening, asking, does he get any messages from these experiences?
What do you mean? What do you think were messages? I just think that they're literal experiences, that um, we're not alone. We're telepathic beings ourselves.
Hmm.
We have to work on the development of our consciousness. We have to be good. We have to be honorable. We have to be righteous. We have to be honest. We have to be helpful. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to respect our bodies. We have to respect our planet. We have to serve others and share and help and work hard and, ultimately understand the power of the glory of it all and to know, I know that God is real. I know that there's universal law, and yeah, hopefully that just ask if you want to follow up on that. What do you mean by a message? I'm happy to talk more about that, but that's what I feel within myself, and I'm at a point in my life where I just, I think I'm mature enough just to say how it is now. I don't care anymore what
Right.
other people think of me. I just speak my truth, and
Well, if
maybe
there's a
that's
follow
why
up,
I've
I'm sure
experienced
she'll.
this. Yeah. So I'll tell you about I'll tell you again for your show and everybody for the Star People. So I was invited to a nice cottage, um, and we were all playing Balderdash, and it just got really stuffy in the cottage. Didn't have air conditioning, so I got my friends up, and we all my friends reluctantly wanted to go for a walk. It was late at night, and so anyways, we're walking along the beach, and I'm at the back with my best friend, and he's a no bullshit, totally honest, legitimate guy. Uh, and all of a sudden, he stops, and then the four friends in front of us stop too. And I'm like looking over at my buddy, and he's just not responding. And then I went for the other ones, and they were just staring at the ground. They're in paralysis, and the fact that they all stopped all at the same time really, I thought to myself, what the is going on here, right? And all of a sudden, the waves stopped moving, and it was like the moon was pulled down very close to us, and it became very magnetic. I felt like this power over me that I've never felt before. It was an incredible magnetic power and like electromagnetic energy over me. And I thought to myself, why am I able to, this doesn't, how am I able to be, awake in this consciousness? My friends are totally locked up in paralysis. And then I wanted an answer, like, what the fuck is going on here? So
Hmm.
I looked in the distance, and there was these very tall, skinny black beings. And so I don't recall walking over to them, but they were in triangular formation, and I went to the closest one. They're probably about 30 feet apart, which I thought was uh, pretty ridiculous because nobody stands 30 feet apart. So that kind of was like, what the heck? So, anyways, I immediately confronted, like, I'm not afraid of anybody, right? Like, so, or not really not of anything. Do I really want to go on one of the ships with them or meet these beings again? I don't know about that, but not quite there yet again. But never really asked for it to meet these beings. Maybe I did, anyways. So in front of this super tall uh, being is about 8 or 9 feet tall. And the first thing I looked at was his eyes, and his eyes were uh, angled, like almond shaped kind of thing, but they're very big. I would say they were about 4 feet wide and about 3 feet high. But the irises is what got me. The irises were just totally incredible. They were a purple, a blue, a gold, a yellow, a silver. And I was like, oh my God, these eyes are just unlike any eyeball I've ever seen before. And so I looked at it. I looked at him a bit more, and his white pale skin had sharp teeth, kind of looking like teeth. Had a small nose. Was wearing a black thin suit that was kind of glimmering a bit with like a hood over it. And there was one single strand, a thick strand, almost like maybe an antenna, that was drooped over this being's forehead, right about the center of the forehead. And so I just looked up at him, and I was gonna. At first, I wanted to say to him like, what's going on? Can you help me? My friends are frozen. But the second I realized it wasn't a human being, I said to the being, I said, "Who are you? You can't be here." and the being looked down at me and in a very deep gargled voice, and it was almost like all three of them were speaking at the same time. The being said, "We can come and go whenever we want. Nothing can stop us." He said it like this: "We can go whenever we want. Nothing could stop us." And I just felt the power just pound through me and radiate through me. I was like, "Holy fuck! Who are these beings?" And so I just had another quick look at them, and then we all just I met up went back with my friends and just like passed out on the couch. It was so peculiar. Usually I make sure I have water. Usually I make sure the door is locked. Usually I make sure I have a pillow. We just went back to the cottage and passed out. And the crazy thing about it is that driving home, we didn't talk about it. I didn't talk to my girlfriend about it. We talked about everything. And and it wasn't until like a couple of days later I started thinking about it. And then this happened that my buddy, he was having a party at his house. He always do these awesome parties. And there's about, I don't know, 15, 20 of us. And everybody who was on the beaches, we were there, but also other friends. And I said to them, like, just stopped the party. I'm like, guys, like, do you remember you being frozen? And they're like, all we remember is you walking up to those people in black suits. That's all they remember. I'm like, do you not remember me like putting my hand in front of you and asking you to respond, or me going to you or to you or you? No, none of them remember any of that at all. And so, yeah, that happened.
Did that have any lasting, I guess, impact on them, or do they just kind of keep it in the back of their heads and move on with life?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. What can you do? What can you do, right? It's like that happened. Like,
Does that,
they've gone on
do you
to.
guys still hang out?
Yeah, I'm very close to my friend. The other ones, since COVID, we haven't really been that close. But yeah, my one buddy, I went and saw him and we talked, and he's doing his thing, and
Does it ever get
he's
brought up?
very well to do. Um, well, what's there to talk about, buddy? Like, what do you, you don't really talk too much about that. We're just aware that happened. Do you know what I mean? Some people
Right,
just don't want to talk about it, right? A lot of, you can understand the upbringings and, people being followers and being afraid or, have enough on their plate already, whatever it is, they just don't want to talk. They're not interested in it or they're scared, right? So I'm not scared because it happened. So what can I do about it? I'm sure, I'm sure we'll have another experience too, right?
right. Well, Niels, do you think, as you were saying, that this is pretty much what raising consciousness one person at a time? Am I correct in recalling that you've just said that? Would
Absolutely.
I don't yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what I'm basically saying is so
Yeah.
um well, because a lot of times, for people it's like it's a lot easier. It's like, okay, why don't they just make their big announcements, let themselves know they're here and talk to our representatives and yada yada yada. But
Well,
a
they
lot of
have.
times, do you have some personal experience with that, or you mean just from the research you've done?
Well, there's, the Israeli former minister of, I think, defense or aerospace. He
Hmm.
already openly said that there are UFOs and star people here. They don't use star people. I use star people because ET is, I don't think is correct. It doesn't give them the respect.
Well, it
The
correlates with
native.
the document I just read before you came on too. And this
Yeah,
was even
absolutely.
back in
And also,
1965.
yeah, the Canadian former defense minister, he's passed away recently. Honorable Canadian Paul,
Hollier.
defense minister of Canada, yeah, Hellier, yeah, he openly talked about an RT. There's just, I can go on and on about it. There's just so much evidence. It's real, right?
I wanted to
Not
have
like
him
the
on.
for.
It's just unfortunate he wasn't able to do it, and then soon after I found out he passed. But I really would have loved to
Yeah.
have him on and talk to him.
Oh, me too. I tried to get a hold of him and through a friend that's close to him, and just didn't pan out. I could have visited him, but I didn't want to find out where he lives. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But yeah, he openly talked about. There's just so many. Like even in the 40s and 50s. Where did all the technology come from, right? The reverse engineering, the fiber optics, and so forth. So, um,
What are
Yeah,
your
so
thoughts? I mean,
they're
you don't
here.
think we have
Yeah.
enough ingenuity to come up with some of it ourselves?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But I think it was a catalyst that they really helped us advance. And I honestly think what we see right now, like what we see in the public, what you and I, can see with the technologies, I think that's about 80 to 100 years behind what's really possible and
Hmm.
hidden from us. You know, we get crumbs here and there, but yeah, it's just, anyways, we digress.
Well, Niels, I mean, what's next? What basically like it's the same kind of. The reason why I'm asking you a question is something similar that I've been kind of mulling over. When the next chapter, whenever that chapter would, happen and occur for me to then move on, and I guess have more experiences and talk to to people more about what in the world else happened. Unless that until that happens, I don't I'll just plan on doing what I've been doing. But what about you? Do you ever is it just basically just keep on researching and just keep gaining as much knowledge as you can, or do you occasionally go
I'm, I'm,
go
I,
up to people and say, hey,
yeah,
let me tell you about aliens?
yeah, like, a lot of people, they don't want to talk about it, but I'm sure if I became friends with them or openly talked about them, I'm sure they've had experiences. Like one of my professors had this large 1963, he was in a farm. Yeah, the family owned a farm, and this large spaceship came over the house and took off. Um, so I couldn't believe that he told me that. But I mean, like, where's this all going? Like, do I want to, do I do research? To be real with you, I really don't do any research on star people or UFOs anymore. I don't need to see. I've seen 21 UFOs. I've had two experiences, or even probably three. Like, one, two that just popped in my mind. I was out in the country, no one else was on the road, middle of nowhere, and there was this large object deep in the trees, at the edge of the tree line where the farm was, kind of thing, and it had it was all lit up in white, or like a gold light around it, or like a white light around it, but it had a red light on the top of it, and it was rotating slowly.
Neil,
And I
just real
pulled
quick, I
over.
think your breath is too close to the mic. Can
Sorry,
you just back up
sorry,
just a little bit? Yeah, otherwise you sound great.
sorry. Yeah, okay. So I pulled over because I saw this. For some reason, I pulled over in this country road. I have no idea why I pulled over, but because there was this object, I guess, and it was big, and it was kind of on the tree line of a farmer's field, probably about 500 feet away, maybe. And this object lit up the tree line, and the kind of corn kind of thing area, with like a white or gold light, and then it had this red light on the top of it, and was slowly rotating. And I thought to myself, that's not farm equipment. It's not harvest season. The corn is still growing. And I thought to myself, I better fucking get out of here and turn my car on in case my car, because instantly I've heard that these crafts can disable electronics.
Hmm.
So I'm like, my car better start up. So I got out of there, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then I was driving home. Then above a lake, there was this uh, kind of like a diamond shape on an angle object, probably about 800 feet tall, and it was almost like a hologram. It had a gray perimeter to it, but the inside of it, the hologram was gray too, but it was kind of like it was liquidy and moving a bit. The peculiar thing was that it was very high winds, like 90 kilometer or whatever, 100 mile an hour winds, and it was just sitting there stationary, probably about, I don't know, 8, 10,000 feet, not moving. Another popped in my mind just now was, I was out fishing in the middle of nowhere. Literally, you can drink beer in the boat and nobody cares. You're on your own, middle of nowhere kind of thing. And it was first thing in the morning, and there was this silver tube-like object, very, very high up, probably probably 50,000 feet, way higher than planes fly. I was just sitting there, not moving at all, and then all of a sudden, I was watching it for 5 minutes, and it vanished with like faster than a light turns off. Um, so yeah, so really, I'm not into. Um, I commend you, and I implore you to keep searching whatever you feel that you should use your time for and your energy for, and to give back, or whatever reason why you do your show and whatnot. But for me, I'm kind of done with the star people and the UFOs for now. I've seen enough. I've experienced enough. I know enough. I'm satisfied. I wanted to know if it's real, and it's real. So now I really want to
Right.
know 100%. I want to meet a Sasquatch, and the way I'm going to do this is that I have to I'm going to meditate beforehand, maybe fast a little bit, come into my heart, into a deep place within me, become sincere, fill myself full of love, and I'm going to go alone into a forest and meditate and send out telepathic messages to them, and maybe they'll appear, maybe they'll show themselves. I'm still a bit hesitant to do it, just because these beings, they're said to be. The consensus is they're upwards of 800 feet tall. They're extremely strong. Um, they're
But you said
you know,
800 feet tall?
sorry, 800. They're 800 pounds, and
Okay.
sorry, yeah, they're like five. They have children too, right? So they could be upwards of 10, 12, 14 feet tall. I've heard that they're able to climb over entire like huge trees with nothing. Like the one I saw went right up that mountain. That didn't even stop in like 15 minutes. Like no human could do that. That's
Right.
ridiculous. The strength and power and the endurance and stamina of these beings. Cardiovascular system, no human can do it.
Right.
So, I'm kind of a bit hesitant to go out in the forest alone, and meet them, or to bring them in. So I've had other experiences too, like through meditation and whatnot. Opening the third eye, making sure your pineal gland is decalcified, that your organs are clean, um, and drink lots of pure, spring water, purified water. I'm a firm believer in that you have to be, keep your body, really got to take care of your body, eating, a bit of a tangent here, but eating fruits and lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of water, pure water, but lots of, get off the hard oils, get off the sugars, start eating
Carbs.
lots of fruits and vegetables. Yeah, get off, carbs are okay, right? But I mean, start eating white fish.
Processed
Uh,
carbs, I mean.
yeah, I'm against GMOs. I'm against processed foods. I think you should eat the most natural foods. You should be consuming olive oil, avocado oil only, really, for oils. Himalayan salt. Use all the spices you can. Lots of raw garlic. Support local farmers. Eat lots of broccoli and whatnot. But also, you can eat your meat and whatnot. Have a burger once in a while. But you really got to focus on your health because that's huge.
Well,
Um,
just something to go along with what you're saying. I was this was like many years ago. I was asked to do like record this. It was called Crystal Fest, and I think it was always happening in San Luis by this particular park. And so I was kind of going around to record these different vendors and these different places to then make a video for promotions later on, so for next year. And so as I was going around, I was kind of talking to vendors, asking them questions and things like that. And something very obvious, but that's really, unless you hear it again, it really doesn't stick with you. There was this family, and it was husband and wife, and had a young daughter, and she's just sitting there among all those vegetables, and she's just biting into that pepper and just having a great time. And so I was talking to him, and they were organic farmers, and she said something that was like, duh, but it really resonated with me. She said, "We see food as medicine." you know,
Exactly.
and we don't think about that, all those have a chemical effect on the rest of the chemistry and the chemical factory that the body is, and so we only always think of food as just something you do, but then when you're sick or need healing, then you go to drugs, right? I meant like the pharmaceutical drugs, I should say. And so anyway, it was very interesting that, how important it is, like you mentioned, to watch from the beginning, what you eat. God knows I've never been, one to always pay close attention. I've only recently started doing that, and why? Because all these different adverse effects I was starting to feel within my body, and all it really took is just make that change. Cut out as much carbs as possible, all these different things, and then like your head clears up. All these different things are just happening without this magical drug. All it took is just this specific type of food that I guess your body's always been craving, but we just kept ignoring it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about choices. Like you're saying, let food be thy medicine. So you got to ask yourself this. Do you want, when you're older, do you want to spend your money on your taking care of your diseases or using pharmaceuticals to treat your symptoms and being in the hospital all the time or taking pills all the time and spend your money on that?
Right.
Or right now, your next move you make, the next time you go to the grocery store or you're hungry, are you going to make a choice that's going to be medicine for you, that's good for you, that's healthy for you? It's your choice. You always have
Right.
the choice. And
And
you'll
it's
feel
not
better, you'll have
expensive.
more
At this point,
energy,
it's
you'll
not
sleep better.
expensive.
Well, yeah, it can be, but I mean, it's worth it. It's an investment. You're investing, and you're also voting with your dollars. Your money you spend is the future you want. So if you're
Definitely.
helping local farmers, or for some reason, sweet potato just popped into my mind. Start cooking on your own. Get a slow cooker, all that stuff. We don't get too much off topic here, but I'm a firm believer that you really got to take care of yourself because it's all your body's a temple, right?
Right. Well, it does correlate a lot with the different alien contexts too, because it's more conducive to contact when you're more clear-headed and you're not bogged down
Hmm.
and not constantly, having to fight off some kind of cold or something.
Yeah,
Contacts and things like what you've experienced, they're a lot more, prone to happen more easily than to have to, fight through the fog that most of us are in. You don't realize, how much of a fog we're in until you do, let's say, like keto for a month, and you go like, wow, I feel like I just woke up, where I've been all this time, and it's so
yep.
interesting, what have affected, and it
Hmm.
was just food, just a slight change in the way
Absolutely.
what you eat. But anyway, what's interesting, I've kind of was been feeling in the similar way about when it comes to not to like quit the channel or anything like that regarding UFOs, but just to when I had my experiences, it almost was like, okay, I'm done. I learned what I need to learn. I see what it's about. And I just wanted to kind of move forward, but it just became, um, a little bit more of a hassle, because I thought I wanted to move on, but then the next thing I know, kept finding myself more and more talking to people about aliens and contact and all this other stuff, and then of course I don't, without having to rehash my story, how that I ended up starting this channel, but even now, as I was, telling you just a bit ago, I'm just gonna chill, keep doing the show and all that, and then if something else happens, of
Yeah.
course, I'll update someone immediately. But until that happens, it's like I don't know how much more than there is for me to go. I've talked, I've recorded talks, I've explained as much as I could, and from time to time, I try to still answer some questions if I can from my personal experience. Not that this is the all be all answers, just from my personal experience, I can add my 2 cents, But other than that, I'm just gonna chill, and I've kind of not moved on, but I kind of started getting more into some other things, like just you know, getting more just family like different hobbies and things like that to just pick things up that kind of I had to put on hold, close to 15, 20 years ago now. And so, anyway, Yeah, I don't know if there's anyone else out there that feels the similar way as you do, and in a way, I feel like we both feel the same way. You know, Sasquatch would be a great thing to then spend a little bit more time researching, because after all, they're already here. You know, and
Yeah, check out how to hunt on YouTube, all one word.
say that
That's
again.
how to hunt.
Okay.
It's a YouTube channel. It's all one word, and he just like kind of like yours here. He gets emailed. His two emails. You can people send in their experiences to him, and he selects them and reads them out online. Maybe you want to do that with UFO Hub. Have people email you their experiences, and you can read them out and make YouTube videos about it. That'd be awesome too. Or
Right.
I
Well,
love this
I would
live fact
rather,
here.
yeah, I would rather people call in, because you
Yeah,
hear the other person and you can hear them recalling their stuff. For one, you know, especially with this, like a lot of people don't realize I'm about 3 feet away from my screen, really. You know, it seems closer on the screen than what it actually is. And then me having to read it and stumbling and all this other stuff,
I
I'd
hear.
rather not put
Yeah,
the
I hear
people
you.
through that, you know. But, you know,
Yeah.
something
Is
like
there any
what you're
other
doing,
questions?
not
For,
that I could see from here. They were just asking me generally, but no, I personally, you know, Niels, I don't, you know, but you know, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know the boat you're in, so to speak, and I just I hope you know I wish you good luck with you know whatever comes up with your you know Sasquatch research and the things you wanted to do there. Love to talk to you again if there's some progress on that end.
yeah, one thing that kind of what I've learned from how to hunt, what these Sasquatch do is that they'll take a tree and the place I go to, I found a tree that's been broken off at about like 10 or 12 feet, and I try to look around, and there's no other tree that would have hit it. So I think there's a Sasquatch near. Um, so yeah, I could talk quite a bit about it. I think it's around for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
there's some what is it
'Cause
called? A Sasquatch sign or something like that. Depends on, I mean, different people that are researching it more, or like are out and about doing more field work. They have all their different terms and vocabulary regarding that. But you know, one of
mm,
my great friends that's you know passed on now, but I've showed some of his videos. He was big into just taking his camera, going into the woods, and going with a Sasquatch person. I forgot what her name was. Um, they were in Illinois, and so they would kind of say stop here, and then they would kind of point out exactly what you were telling about. Like these branches are just really uh, set up in this really unnatural way, you know, and they would be saying, okay, this is basically a sign of Sasquatch around. And then, of course, they would then, sure enough, right in that area where they stopped, there's just prints of big feet there, and they measured them out, and they're like 12, 14 inches, you know, size. And you know, having known him personally, we always got to talk, and you know, over dinner, over phone, anytime. And I know he wasn't bullshitting me, you know, because for one, it's not what he was about. He was through seeker, you know, looking for answers and wanting to know more. And you know, the things that are already out there, and what you were talking about, you know, I've had confirmed by a very close friend of mine, you know, that that it's once you know what you're looking for, you know, you can find out some extraordinary information.
yeah, it's like I believe that they're around. You know, until you lock eyes with them or have a mutual, experience with them, spiritual experience with them, whether they're going to put in ideas into your mind or you speak telepathically, like saying like, "Are you real?" You know, touch your nose,
Hmm.
or even have a conversation. I know some people are having conversations with them and recording them. They're on YouTube too. Um, so yeah, I appreciate you saying best of luck kind of thing. But yeah, I'm trying to push my courage up and get more into love than fear, and to see for my own eyes, experience it. That'd be incredible. You know, I do these people have bucket lists, right? It's like, oh, do this, do that. So this is definitely on my bucket list. This is the only last thing on my bucket list. The star people, cross it off. UFOs, cross it off. Telepathy, cross it off. You know what I mean?
Well,
Other.
knowledge is always good, but it's always that experience that turns that knowledge into wisdom, and it's one of these things to where there's so many people always telling me about, and this is not to belittle anyone that's been on the show and had that point of view, but I'm just recalling it. They would always talk about the negative ETs and all the bad things that happen and all this other stuff, and knowing the experiences that I put myself through, that I just opened myself up like this ignorant open book, right? And if there was anything to bestow on me, any kind of harm, that would have been that time, because I was basically just, just, hook, line, and sinker into what was going on during that period of 2010 to 2015 in my life, and if there was any of that negativity that could have come through, that would have been the time. But it's just, what are the chances that everything I experienced that was maybe fearful at one point, but then immediately soon after, because I kept going, was finding out more answers that then explained everything, and then the negativity and the fear was gone because, oh, now I understood why it was happening, or why it was happening. So anyway,
Would you? Let me ask a question here. This on that statement. Would you jump on an incredible, Elon Musk's spacecraft, whatever his rocket, and go to whatever Mars, and would you speed up or stomp on the ants or life that are living there? So I really don't feel that these star people are doing this. You know what I mean? That
right,
these beings are telepathically, or they're bending space and time. They can come through your walls. If they wanted us harmed because we're destroying our planet, nuclear war, all that bullshit, hurting each other,
right.
when we cure all hunger, all that stuff, they would annihilate us faster than you know what.
Well,
So I really don't
where I
feel
was
that
going
they're
with
that
all
way.
this, where I was going with all this was basically just to state, there I was able to basically debunk those fears myself, to see for myself. Because before, if I took somebody's word for it about be fearful, be aware, be careful, and all these other things, it would have, I would have just kind of been this emotional mess. But having gone through it myself, now I know for a fact what is going on and what is happening. Where I was going with that regarding Sasquatch, I would approach it the same way. If I would, if I was you, I would then just say this, okay, the same way that this one particular, you know, event clarified everything for me. I want to approach it the same way that, okay, whatever happens, happens. If I see one, great. If I happen to be hurt by one, great. Believe it or not, because when I put myself in these situations, I truly am okay with whatever is coming down the road, because my that feeling of wanting to know, that urge to want to know, is more powerful within me than anything else that I can describe. So, because I would rather have an experience that was truthful and found out the truth than to already have preconceived ideas and cake it with all my preconceived notions and all of that, and then really take away the purity of that experience, to really see it for what it is. Because at the end of the day, it's a spiritual, scientific way, right? It's all about staying open-minded. It's like, okay, this happened, I'm afraid, why? Okay, this happened, this was great, why? Right? To be asking the same questions, whether something is good or bad. So anyway, that's why I was basically going with that I
Yeah,
already live in this woodsy area. I mean, it's pretty heavily forested, so there's this path that I've been recently trying to just kind of walk a little bit, because I need to do some working out. That's ever since I got
good
married, I
for
gained
you.
like 100 pounds. And so I'm like, I need to get back in shape.
Happy and getting fat.
Truly, because I always jokingly blame my wife. I say, it's all your fault. It's like, because I'm happy. It's like, I don't need to work out. Anyway, so what I'm trying to get at is, I've been walking this path, and we kind of, without, because meditation doesn't necessarily always just have to be sitting with an intent and all that. Walking with this state of mind is a form of meditation, you know.
Absolutely.
And so I just kind of do my thing. I walk up and down, until I'm, out of breath or done working out. And it's usually maybe in half an hour, maybe a bit more. But that
Good
would
for
be then
you.
always opening the opportunities to say, okay, well, I'm here. I'm walking here. If there's something, because there's plenty of in the path, it's a very clear path. If all of a sudden this huge, 10-inch 20-foot, tree is then knocked over and in the way, it would be very obvious that, either it was dragged there or, there might be maybe a natural explanation that, okay, maybe this tree did die and just happened to fall over. But you can
Well,
analyze
let's
that, you know?
mhm. Well, snap it. They snap it at like the 10 or 12 feet kind of thing to show their height. So, like, how does a tree break at 12 feet? Just like you know,
Right.
so it's not just a whole tree that's fallen over. That's what shows their height. But one thing that popped in my mind when you were talking there is how kind, like, to have that deep, wish, sincere, genuine wish to know, to have an experience, and the experience happens for you. Like, you don't have any preconceived notions. You have no idea what's going to happen, right? You have no, you can't, we're so limited in our awareness or it's possible, and then it happens, and it just blows your mind how incredible it is. It's like, how kind are these? Is God or the universe or even yourself or whatever it is to have these experiences and to have to be heard and in that state of mind of
Right.
meditation. Like they don't have to you know come from their planet or another dimension and do all these metaphysics, quantum physics or whatever and get to you. They don't have to do that. So it's just, I'm very appreciative of that.
Right. Well, Niels, thank you
And I
again.
appreciate for you. Yeah, my pleasure. No problem. I just
Yeah. No, seriously,
felt like
let
you're
me know. Keep me posted if and when, there's more info. Whatever you find out, whatever you experience.
for sure. Yeah, I'll get back in here. I think I talked about C5 and how to do that meditation. Can I leave you with that? Because maybe some of
Sure.
your
Yeah, go ahead.
viewers want to know how to do that. So this is what I did. And I'll just relate it to, I'll just tell you what happened. So I learned from Dr. Stephen Greer. Everyone's probably heard of him.
Hmm.
And it's kind of tough to find his meditation, but that's what I learned from him. Like my girlfriend and I, we used to go to this campground every summer with my family, and I was so excited to take my girlfriend there. And fortunately, we got this campsite that was just because camping it's booked up right away. So we got the special site that we actually it was the same site that we had years ago, and I've always wanted it, and I never got it in previous years. But anyways, we got this site, and I was so excited to show my girlfriend, and all of a sudden, this static ball of light was just flying up the lake at a high rate of speed, and I wanted to keep up to it, but it was going too quickly. I was trying to run after it with her, and then I was like, "What the heck's going on here?" So that night, I was like, "I'm gonna do fucking C5 tonight." Um, Minus the F bomb, but anyways, so we got into the I got into the camper, and it was whatever late at night, and it was silent. The campground, everyone was asleep. You're months hours early or whatever, and I laid down in the bed kind of thing, and I started doing my breathing exercises. So in through my nose for 8 seconds, kind of thing, then out through my mouth for 8 seconds. I worked my way up to about 25 to 30 seconds, each in and out. Right, very deep state of relaxation and breathing. So all that rich oxygen is going to my body, and then during that in that state there. I believe it's like almost like a theta state. I believe it is. Um, in that state, I started feeling, just started bringing, the chemical or hormone, whatever, of and the vibration of love through me. Just in that moment for a while, just the love, that I got from my loved ones and all that, just flowing through me, and then through me also some about unity uh, for a while, and it was oneness, and it was uh, welcoming, and then after a while, because this is beyond space and time, right? After a while, I started, those type of, thoughts and feelings, and then I showed in my mind's eye where I am in the where I think I am in the universe, like the Andromeda galaxy, like on the edge of it. So I've seen images in Andromeda galaxy, how incredible huge it is, and it's just a universe within a universe of billions of trillions, possibly infinite universes within universes, right? So, anyways, I'm showing that with my mind's eye that we're on the edge of the galaxy, and then the our solar system, kind of like in alignment, all the planets, how we're taught that, and then the sun, envision the sun for a while, how bright it is and spherical and big it is and all that, um, and then the earth, how blue and green it is, looking down at the earth, and then looking down at the continent, and then to the country, and then to the state, and then to the region, the county, and then to the town, to the location. So that's what I did, and then I just kind of fell asleep after that. And then the next night, um, we were girlfriend and I were sitting around the campfire, and I went to say to her, we should brush our teeth and go to bed. But then when I went to look over to tell her that, there was this extremely bright reddish orange object, and I couldn't hear anything. It was a good distance away, maybe a mile or two. So I stood up and looked right at it. And the first thing I thought was, logically, there isn't an airport here. Is this plane going to land on the lake here, or is it going to crash, or what's going to happen, right? So I said to my girlfriend, "Get up, get up." So we ran to the beach that was locked on the campsite right there, and all of a sudden the object was closer, and it came over top of us. Uh, it was the shape of a uh, a football. It was a horizontal type of football, if you can envision that, and it was taller than it was wider. But what got me was the technology of it. It was orange and red, solid. But if you can envision like the fluorescent lights at like a gas station, it was like that. But it was like 10,000 times, like light years more rich and beautiful and colorful and pure, and like it was like like it wasn't like a 4K TV looking at it color, it was like a 10,000K TV,
Hmm.
and it silently went over top of us, and about it was about 50 feet tall and maybe about 40 feet wide kind of thing, and it was about not even I could have thrown a rock at it so easily. A pretty good arm on me, very very close, and silently just went over top of us, and then the lake was completely silent. Right, it did a right turn, and it it went to a 45-degree angle, and it shot off like on Star Trek. It was there, and then it was just like the light was like gone. Like it went to zero to Mach 10,000 in like a tenth of a second, just gone into the night sky. And so I couldn't believe it. I just laid down on my girlfriend laid down in the sand on my back, right, and just started crying, crying and crying. I didn't know my girlfriend was doing that time. I didn't. Like, I was just so like, oh my god, like did that just really happen? So then, I guess 5 minutes later, I don't know what's happening. I was crying, and just so overwhelmed. It's all real and true and everything, and that that I'm connected, and maybe we're all connected. Gonna work on that, but all of a sudden, I got up and I went to go to the campsite, and this young guy was there right in my face. He's like, "What did you see? What did you tell me all about what you saw and everything?" Right? Because the campground was pretty quiet, I guess, and maybe they saw it or they heard that I was talking, or other people saw it, or who knows. And I just told him straight up. I was like, "This is what I saw," and yeah, so it's real, and that's what I'll leave you with.
Yeah, thank you for that. At least it gives a pretty good idea what the process of C5 is like too. So thank you for going into the details.
My pleasure. It worked for me, and it should work for you if you're sincere and genuine, and you really want to experience it.
Right.
You'll most likely be visited, because when you start, I think when the consensus that's out there too is once you start exploring and get interested in them, they get interested in you.
Right.
And yeah, I'd say just if you want to experience it, do it, because time is ticking, right? We're all going to pass away, right? So do what you want to do right
That's for
now.
sure.
Make sure it's godly intent, right? That's what I see. That's what I hear too. So
All right,
okay,
Niels.
my
Well,
friend,
thanks
thank you
very
so much
much.
for
No,
having me on your
thank you.
show. I'll be back on again.
Anytime.
God bless everybody, and be happy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you. You take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Niels. Let me get back to you. All right. Well, thank you everyone else that's been tuned in. I see you all have had a great time chatting, and I'm glad. So, if there's any guests, I've noticed some of you are putting it down in the chat, and usually I don't know what's happening with YouTube. Actually, I do know what's happening with YouTube. I just can't believe it's more prevalent than what it used to be. Comments disappear. People would leave comments or in the comment section, and I would, for example, myself go in to check it, and it's gone. I cannot see it. It's in the notification, but it's not in the comments. I'm going to the back end, all the options that I have as the channel creator to look through all that stuff. There's nothing in unread comments or anything like that, and it's been a lot of those. It truly has been a lot of those. So forgive me, most of you, I leave the comments out there because I don't mind. Very rarely do I remove them because either people are being jackasses or just flat out rude for no reason. So I don't know what good a comment like that would bring. So I would remove those. But everyone else's, whether they leave a link, for example, I also went through and checked it and made sure that it doesn't take. Sometimes if you click on do not allow links, it takes the comment out automatically. Well, it's not checked on mine. So again, I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry if your comments have been removed or not, or just basically vanished because I can't find them either. But on the UFOhub.net website, or directly email. You can either fill out the form there. It's when you scroll all the way down, there's a little contact tab. You can fill out the form and contact me that way, or contact ufohub@gmail.com. You can send me recommendations if there's somebody that you would like to see on the show. I've had a few people reach out, and I've made myself a list to just kind of send an email to all of those people and see if they want to come on. And so I'm always working on getting new guests set up and all of that. So if there's anyone that you would like to recommend, please either ufohub.net, fill out the contact form below and recommend some speakers to me that way, or just direct email under contact@ufohub@gmail.com. So this Friday, I'm going to have Jacqueline Smith on, and she's written a new book. And forgive me, I can't always remember the names, but the book title is actually "Star Being in the Mirror: My Journey as a Hybrid." And so Barbara Lamb, I believe, and one other author have written about her experiences, and she has now come out with a book herself. Not quite sure if she has others, but the link for the stream on Friday is already created, and all the links for for the website or contact or books are already in the description below, so you can go ahead and check it out ahead of time if you have the interest. But it's going to be at 7 p.m. Central Time. I believe it's 8 p.m. her time, and so we'll connect, do an interview, and I certainly hope you can partake, at least watching, or when it's time for Q&A, like Niels logged into Open Lines on Telegram, you can do the same thing by simply joining Telegram and awaiting for voice chat to open up on Friday. That way you can come on and ask a question yourself of the guest or myself or whichever. But usually I hope that you guys can just kind of stick to asking the guest and more of a direct question, so that if there's several questions, we can get through a lot more. If there's no one else there asking questions, and I usually, let people ask a couple of them or whichever, just because they can. They were at the right spot, and to ask a question, that was there would be that platform for that. So, interview again with Jacqueline Smith, 7 p.m. this Friday. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed today. And yeah, y'all take care.